Hello. We are here in this video to talk about how merge joins can be a little weird and misleading when you see them in the plan cache. Now, I've jumped ahead a little bit here, and the reason is because there's really not a whole lot of reason to have you sit around staring at queries that run for 30 seconds. So what I'm going to show you is the the execution plan prior to adding these two indexes. If we look over at this execution plan, it runs for about a minute total. Right? If we zoom in over here, about a minute and 2 seconds. There is a fairly, I mean, this would make an okay slow repartition streams demo too, right? Like 13 seconds there. But we can see that we spent a fairly significant amount of time in these two, in these two sorts, because and they spill off the disk. Things generally go poorly here. Going from 13 seconds to 26 seconds, and from 5 seconds to almost 10 seconds there. That sucks, and that takes a long time. But if we add up 26 and 10, we are about 10. Let's just call that 36 seconds. We still spend 20 seconds in the merge join. And the reason that we do that, now this is where the plan cache doesn't lie to you. If we hover over the merge join and we scroll down here and we look at this, we can see that many to many is set to true. And what many to many means is that there are duplicates on the outer side of the merge join. This is where many to many matters. Now, SQL Server has choices. It could have stuck some sort of aggregation on one side or the other, and it could have eliminated duplicate values to make it a non-many to many join. You won't see this if you join a unique index to a non-unique index, because this won't be many to many, it'll be one to many. But anyway, for this merge join, we can see that it is many to many. And if we go into the properties of the merge join and we go into actual I/O statistics, we can see normally if you were to turn set statistics I/O on, you would see in the output a work table for the merge join. Newer versions of SQL Server have that I/O information in the execution plan. So I find myself less and less using the set statistics time and I/O stuff on newer versions of SQL Server because so much stuff is in the execution plans. But if we go and we look at the logical reads that the merge join is doing, you can see just how much work was done on the work table, right? Like a lot of work went into that work table. That work table did work, right? Work table did work. Now, to sort of screen out some of the noise here, like if you look at the merge join, when we look at our where columns, we can see it's where the post ID column on the comments table is equal to the post ID column in the votes table. If we go back and look here, I created indexes on comments and votes that lead with post ID. So these columns will now be in the order that the merge join wants them in. We don't have to sort them. Now, if I go look at the execution plan after that happened, we can still see we improved the speed a bit. Right? It's now down to about 40 seconds from about a minute. So we shaved off about 20 seconds. Unfortunately, that 20 seconds was all over here. We didn't have to sort data. Those two sorts didn't spill. We didn't have to, because we had the data in order, we didn't have to sort it and spill a bunch of stuff to disk. But we still have a lot of time spent in this merge join. And this merge join is still of the many-to-many variety. And if we look in the properties again of the merge join, we go here, properties, and we go to I/O statistics, we do the exact same amount of work in that hidden work table that gets spun up to deal with the duplicate values in there. So we do quite a bit of work in that merge join regardless of indexing, because it is the many-to-many variety. SP Blitzcache will warn you about many-to-many joins, but because we don't have information about the per operator breakdown the way the execution plan does. We don't have that information in the cache plan. I can't tell you how big, bad, ugly, or consequential the work table for the many-to-many merge is. So if we look at the query plan here, we'll still see that the many-to-many merge join is true. But if we go to the properties like we did in the actual plan, we won't have all that good information about the I/O work that it did, which is, a bummer, right? It's not fun stuff there. But at least Blitzcache will warn you about many-to-many merges. It's up to you to figure out if you have a execution plan with lots of merge joins in it. You will have to do some hovering. It could be one, it could be multiple, and there's not really like a whole lot of good hint in the metadata about how much work the merge join did. There's just nothing in there that tells us really. It'd be nice. I mean, I say it would be nice, but it's kind of a niche thing anyway. I don't think it's worth the engineering time that would take to add a column to like work table IO or something, work table reads or something in the DMVs. I don't know. Maybe it would be. Maybe work table reads would be the most fantastic piece of troubleshooting telemetry that SQL Server performance tuners have ever seen. I kind of doubt it, though. I have my doubts there. Have some doubts. Anyway, that wraps up how many-to-many or how merge joins can be tricky. Remember to keep an eye out for that many-to-many thing. Blitzcache will show you under expert mode if your merge joins are of the many-to-many variety, and sometimes sometimes indexing can help. Other times, making sure that one input, it gets aggregated in some way first can take away the many-to-many thing. You might have a unique column that maybe you didn't tell SQL Server was unique, right? Like you have a regular index on it, not a unique index on it or something. Or maybe SQL Server is just choosing the wrong join type and you need to dissuade it from that in some way. Maybe use one of those awful query hints that people get all worked up about. Me, I love query hints. I love them to death. Let's put them everywhere. Sprinkle them everywhere. Do what I want. Goodbye. I don't have time for this. Anyway, that's it for that. In the next video, we will start talking about, more new stuff. I have so much new stuff to tell you about. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be the newest stuff you have ever seen in your life. Anyway, I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.